My first guest on this show was Rhiannon Giddens. What we were talking about was the work that we each do and how it is unexpected, and somewhat unprecedented in our little tiny fields, and how that can feel so lonely and a little scary. And how when you find the people, who are also doing the weird, unprecedented work, then you have a support system. But even more than that, you have to really look behind you. You have to really find the ancestors who did the kind of work that, that you desire to do, and they support you. They hold you up. And I was thinking about that as I was listening to your new record, which is called Ledisi Sings Nina, and, is a tribute to the great Ms. Nina Simone. And I just want to ask you about quite simply about your relationship with her.
The musical relationship I have with her kind of was always there, but I didn't notice it. My mom would wake us up in the mornings. She would just bang on a wooden spoon by the third time asking us to get up and sing Mississippi Goddamn, and that's a horrible way to wake your children up in the morning. But my mom was pretty much a truth teller. She just said how it is. And I heard whatever she listened to. And Nina was one of those people. But when I was in a dark space of feeling depressed and, in your late 20s, you got bills, you've just been divorced. You're not really received in a way you want it to be. It's a lot of pressure to take care of everything, So I was ready to leave the earth. It was exhausted and sitting on my porch in this house that I didn't know how I was going to pay every month. I was rocking in my rocking chair, and I always have music going on in the living room, always jazz to calm me. And they started to play Trouble in Mind, a live version of it. And I never heard this song. And I just heard this piano just go, mm-hmm. And then you hear Nina's, singing Trouble in Mind. And I just got out of my funk and said, what the heck is this? I got to go in the living room and hear it up close. And when I heard it, the lyrics responded to how I was feeling. And when people say, your music saved my life, I didn't really get that until that happened. It just hit my heart like, oh, wow, somebody understands how I'm feeling right now.
I think that we as women in this sort of multi-generational family, we feel that in each other. And it's a very powerful superpower that we have.
I agree. There's always that sense of longing of acceptance and to be received just as we are and not have to edit. Nina said it out loud, all the things the women probably were thinking back then. This woman just wanting to be loved, period. That was the feeling. We always go to her anger, but do you understand where that anger comes from? It comes from being neglected and not being received and being rejected. And so when you explore that part, there's a need for love and being treated fairly. That's what all that comes from. Love.
We're starting to understand this, I think, about all these women who were labeled, difficult, crazy, It's an inner compass. It's this thing that just keeps you going. I'll tell you something about Billie Holiday, who we're also revisiting now, without the lens of, crazy, tragic lady. No, she was a powerful force with a message that she insisted on transmitting. Yeah. So I have this strange, sad, fractured childhood. And like you, some of my memories of childhood are about the music. And along my way, I find myself going back and back further to those childhood influences and trying to extract something from them. And Billie Holiday, from the time I was a tiny kid, was always one of those voices that I needed to hear. So I went back years later, and I realized that what I had been hearing when I was a sad little girl was her ability to take her sadness and make out of it something beautiful.
They use the music to get through. When you don't have time for self-care to take care of yourself, mentally, just doing the work is exhausting. We have to take care of our spirit and our mental and our physical. It all goes together to create the music that we have. We can mask all of those emotions and get through the gig. But inside, we're hurting. You got to have a balanced life. And that's what I have right now. That's why I'm able to have this much freedom. But I wouldn't have it if it wasn't for her paving a way.
Yeah, exactly. This claiming of mental health as a right, this claiming of self-care
We've
as
ignored it so
right.
long.
Yeah, so long. And, of course, as performers of any kind, we also do have this like birth defect of needing, wanting the approval and wanting the attention. And that's the thing that we have to balance, because that thing can suck all of our energy.
Yeah. But I love this new generation. They're saying, no, I know who I am and I don't want to. No, I'm tired. Mentally, I can't. It's too much.
Amazing. It's amazing.
It's beautiful to watch.
It's revolutionary.
It is. Because women, we can do multiple things. We're incredible humans as women. I'm not a man, I don't know. But as women, we're phenomenal. Our multitasking. Yeah. So much so that we forget about our own being. My mom always said, get through it. You can get through it. Oh. Now I'm like, sometimes I can't get through.
No. And also, like, do better, do more. There's finally this little voice in my head. I can hear it. I don't always respond to it, but there is a little voice now that says, you don't have to finish this tonight, or you are doing too much. I don't know where it came from. It's brand new.
We're so into our list, aren't we? Our list. I gotta get this done.
One thing that's on my mind a lot, because I'm such a mama bear about the next generation, and I love working with young musicians, and especially, the girls. And I'm so conscious of myself as some sort of a, touchstone or role model or mentor for them. I wonder if the women that we look back on, if they even had the time and space to consider that, or if they were so overwhelmed seeing themselves through this, pushing themselves through this, that they didn't get to appreciate what they would be for the next generation.
When I talk to people that came before me in my craft, most of them are very proud that we've taken charge and been vocal about things, and to say no loudly and to stand. Accountability. And that also means accountability to take care of yourself.
I'll tell you another thing that those ladies would have been happy to see is the fact that we're able to take control of the business of our music.
Yeah, that part is so important. It's funny, when I was trying to get this project somewhere else, it kept coming back to me having ownership of it. And here we are. So, yeah, ownership is a huge thing that the ladies didn't have, and that Nina wanted ownership over her music. And even today, her family wants ownership over her music.
I'm curious to know how that's been for you, because I think that the ownership, obviously, it has a purely financial, practical side to it. And it also has, for me, a very emotional side, because I think that once you take ownership and you take direction of your work, you're no longer in a position of asking other people for things. You're taking the reins, which comes with even more work, but it relieves you of that, let me show you how great this is. Constantly,
Yeah, I don't have to prove anything. I just put it out and see what happens and hope that I made the right choices. And I got a first number one on my label. Yeah. So you have to take risk and invest in yourself. That was the best thing I ever did for my career right now.
I love this record, and there's something very magical about the opening of it. And I know that those things don't happen by accident, that we think long and hard about the structure of an album. Yes. How do you structure that? What was your process?
I didn't want to amplify the political side of her as much, because that's not the voice that I heard that saved me. I heard the voice that said, you're going to be fine. I understand how you feel. I love you. Keep going. It's about me expressing my love for her through her music, my way. And with Feeling Good, what a way to start. And I'm feeling good. That's it. And I love that the chord starts real dark and you think I'm gonna be dark, but I'm not. It's gonna reach you a little different. I'm not Nina. Her voice has that overtone of sadness, so does mine. I think it's longing, but it's in a brighter way. So why would I want to sound like her when I'm not her? I want to tell you, I love you, I'm here. And I want to reach the listener the same way.
You're making me so emotional.
Oh, no.
I'm kind of tearing up. No, because you're saying all the things that I feel about this huge family that is music, and what we take from each other, and how it constantly evolves. In the classical world, I feel like I'm constantly fighting to remind everyone this isn't something that's fixed, that stays in the past. This is something that shifts and changes and grows. And it's taking an idea, an inspiration, a song, pulling it into your own voice, telling your own story with it, passing it on. What comes next? It's that.
That's
it's not
why I love
copying
yes. What I mean, the legends wouldn't want this. If they were here, they would say, please add your stuff to it. I don't want to hear me over and over again. Who are you within it?
It's not easy. Let's face that. It's not easy to be yourself in any aspect of your life. Like, this is the journey. Yeah. Be yourself in your music, be yourself in your body, be yourself in your relationships, in your world. Yeah. This is the
And you
journey.
hope people accept that too when you are yourself. And that's what this music has allowed me to be, my whole full self, the girl that studied classical, that loved jazz, that started in jazz. With R&B, you do a scat, they're thinking you're just this jazzy. No, I'm R&B too. I'm just from New Orleans with this jambalaya of stuff, and Oakland, who does funk and gospel. So I can't help but be all these different things. And that's what I was hoping, to have this freedom in my own music and sneak it in. But now with Nina, I can be all that. I can sing in French. I can sing the blues. Nina's music allowed me that. And from studying her, she was all those things. A classical pianist, an incredible pianist.
Of course, I identify so much with her classical origins. And for me, there's this lie to the narrative of, it's such a tragedy that she wasn't able to pursue a classical career. I mean, I know that it was painful for her. It was a source of a lot of pain. But thank goodness she wasn't locked into that box. She would have been locked into that box. But there's a quote from her about how she had spent her life pursuing excellence, which I think means perfection in the classical sense.
Yeah, in the classical.
And then she says, but now my music was about freedom. And I think I had always interpreted that to mean the freedom of, that she was fighting for freedom, the civil rights context. But I think maybe it's a double meaning, that she's finding her own creative freedom. I choose to hear it that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm choosing to hear it that way. To be free, like to not have these labels. I belong here. My space was given to me. Mm-hmm. Allow me to freely express. That's freedom.
That's freedom. Let's make a promise to each other and to the world that a generation or two from now, if some kid comes along, they can interpret our music and our words however they want, however they need, and they can make something brand new out of it.
Yes, that is the goal. Please do that. Because there's only one Nina, only one Aretha, only one Billie Holiday. There's only one. The next one will be a new version of that. But for this time, we always have to go, but she's like, no, she's Ledisi. Yeah. She's Lara. We'll never find another Lara like that. Ever.